Hello, Internet. This is Whispering Whim, bringing you another grocery haul today. I went to both a regular grocery store and my local Sam's Club, so I have a lot of stuff volume wise, but not as much item wise, item wise. In case you're unfamiliar with the concept, because outside of the Midwest and Western part of the United States, I'm not sure many places have a Sam's Club. It's owned by the same people who own Walmart, but it's a membership type store, kind of like a Costco if you have one of those. And the idea is that you pay a fee yearly, and then you can buy things in bulk that are going to be a lot cheaper than buying them at the grocery store. And I've been a member there for a while, and but I hadn't been in for a little bit, a few months, I think. And so I may have gone a bit overboard. But we'll see. We'll see. We have lots of snacky things at least. First up, we've got some pistachios. This is a variety pack. It has honey roasted, plain roasted and salted, and then chili roasted. And my guy likes all of those in his lunch, so those are mostly for him. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just get these big old buggers out of the way real quick, because I feel like they're quite vibrant and in the shot. This is another Sam's Club thing, so you can see what I mean about bulk. That is 40 bags. It has Gardettos, Chex Mix, and Bugles. It's been forever since I've had Bugles. I'm not actually positive if they were good or if I just liked making the finger claw things out of them when I was a kid. And you know, it's funny, the more I stared at it, the more I'm like, aren't Gardettos and Chex Mix, like Chex Mix, isn't that just Gardettos with Chex? Are they really that different? So I ended up reading the ingredient list, and basically, long story short, Chex Mix has a lot more like garlic and seasoning type things in it, on top of having the Chex. So that's why they're different. But when you look at just the pictures, like they don't really look like they're super different mixes. And you know, brass tacks is that, pretzels and little rye chips are going to just be pretzels and little rye chips. And then also from Sam's Club, we've got this big old box of popcorn. There is a sweet and salty, a regular, and a white cheddar. I like these because they're still pretty snacky. You know, it doesn't feel like you're eating something too healthy. But at I think they're like 80 calories a bag. Okay, so the plain one and the cheddar one are 80. And then the sweet and salty is 110, which kind of makes sense, right? Because it's got that sugar in there. But even at 110, that's not too bad for a snack, right? And now that distraction is out of the way, I'm going to jump back into this bag, which is also mostly Sam's Club stuff. And first up, is a 4-pound bag of rice. I have moved away from eating the minute rice. I still love it. I love minute rice. But it's super processed and refined, and you don't get a lot of goodness out of it. So I have some regular white rice here, and I like that this one came with a little zip top, because the rices that I've bought previously, sometimes they don't have a zip top, and then it's very annoying. One of these days, timber. One of these days I'm going to get those jars or bins that you put all your bulk stuff into, but today just wasn't that day. Following that, let's see here. This is what spilled everywhere and is still trying to spill. Is a bag of apples. It was just an open-ended bag, and apparently they filled it way too much because this also spilled while it was in the car. And I actually ended up putting it in this bigger bag, even though it has its own handles, because they were just spilling everywhere. And then a minor rant. So like they had these little bags here, and I was really trying to this one particular item is actually from the grocery store, not from Sam's Club, despite how bulky it is. But when I went to the regular grocery store, I was trying to kind of keep it down because I had already spent so much at Sam's Club. And I saw these and they're like, $1.99 a pound. And I was like, oh, $1.99 a pound. That's not so bad. But I didn't actually put it on the little scale, which I should have, because it ended up being like $10 worth of apples. And if I had just waited and gotten them at a different grocery store, I probably could have gotten them for half that price. So I was a little annoyed, but we have plenty of apples now. All right. And the next one, I'm almost embarrassed on how excited I am about this, but this is another Sam's Club find, and this is seaweed snacks. Now, y'all probably remember that I like seaweed snacks, right? And one of the things that always made me feel guilty is they come in those plastic trays, and it's a lot of waste. Well, these were at Sam's Club, and they're just in sleeves. There's no plastic tray. Now, I haven't tried this brand before, and not all seaweed snacks are the same, but I'm hoping, since there's like 20 packs in here, that these are comparable to the ones that I choose to get when I can find them. At Winco, it's kind of hit or miss if these will, or if the other brand of seaweed snacks will be available. And at Sam's Club, this is a limited time only thing, so if they're good, I may run down there and get like another box. And then let's see here. Next up, we have some taco seasoning. I finally broke down and just got like a big old tub of taco seasoning. I have been buying the packets. I think I have one still hanging out here. Like this. And I'm like, they're only 40 cents a piece. Why not? But then if I don't get them at Winco, it's like 78 cents a piece at the local grocery store. And anyways, I've been debating just getting a big jar of taco seasoning for a while now. And I finally bit the bullet. I mean, it was only like $6, but when you're used to paying like 40 cents to 80 cents for a single serving, I guess buying 6+ servings at a time seemed weird. Now that I say the math out loud, it's actually not that weird at all. But yeah, taco seasoning. It's a good thing you guys like these rants, because I am a very ranting kind of a person. All right. Next up, we have avocado oil. This is probably the thing I have been missing most since I have wasn't going to Sam's Club, right? I haven't gone for, I think, about 2 months now. But it's just plain avocado oil. In the grocery stores, I can sometimes find avocado oil, and it's one that's like, they're big. Can you see? And it only lasts me like a week, and it's terrible. Whereas this big old chunker, it's probably at least a month's worth of oil there. And I prefer it. I know olive oil is supposed to be like the healthy oil, and I do use avocado or olive oil for some things, but it has a very low smoke point. You can't really like fry in olive oil, right? It's not good for that. I wouldn't even recommend roasting in it, honestly. And I do a lot of roasted vegetables. Mostly broccoli, but cauliflower, bell peppers, anything I have on hand. I probably will roast in oil at some point. Anyways, finishing out that big bag is a big old box of honey buns. So, honey buns for my honey, aka my guy, which I am told is a very cute phrase, or that people don't hear it that often. And it's funny. I adopted using it mostly for videos. He's the type of person that doesn't want his name going online any more than it has to. So I never said his name. And it always just sounded like too much to be like, my fiance, my husband, my long term boyfriend, because we've been together for a long time. So my guy was just the best, most casual summary of the situation I could think of. But anyways, my guy, my honey bun, is getting some honey buns. That's the moral of the story. And that finishes out this big old bag. That is half of the little over half of the Sam's Club stuff. We have some things in the refrigerator that I'll go ahead and take out and show off after we get through everything that's on the counter. And then as I'm glancing at the counter, actually I realized that I have actually gone to 3 stores today, not just 2. It's no wonder that I'm a little grumpy. You guys can't tell for the video because I never try to project that outward. But on the last leg of my journey today, the last grocery store, there was one of those people who are always trying to raise money, and it's always something different, unless it's Dare, and those people are everywhere. Side note for fellow Americans, Dare used to be a federally funded program. It got defunded about the time that marijuana use became mostly legal. So Dare went away for a bit, and now it's under new management, and they do a lot of other things because they're not working on the drug messaging anymore. But if you look them up, like research the new-ish version of Dare, it makes a whole lot of promises and it isn't doing a whole lot. It doesn't get great reviews. Like, I'm trying to remember the name of it, but there's actually a website where you can get like a report card for different charity organizations because it's hard to know where your money's going to. Anyways, these guys fail at that and they are like everywhere. Oh my gosh, this was a different one. Long rant, sorry. Last one, I promise. I don't promise that. But this was one for like starving kids in Africa. And I wanted to be done with my grocery shopping. And I was like, dude, that's bad. I've got a $5 bill in my pocket. I'll give it to you. And he's like, oh no, we don't want to take cash. We can't like track it. And I'm like, and he's like, for just $1 a day. And I was like, no, I'm not doing a subscription service for some dude I met outside of the grocery store. I'm sorry, no. But that just kind of is frustrating. Anyways, I have some alcohol. That'll make it better, right? Later, though. Probably not while I'm doing my video, huh? But there's more alcohol. I went to Total Wine, which is sort of a liquor shop here in town, and they have pretty much the best prices in town. Like this giant bottle of New Amsterdam was only $16. The cheaper grocery store that's near me sells it for $20, and the not so cheap grocery store around me sells it for like $27 now, I think. So I always shop around when it comes to my liquor. It can be quite a difference. Then rounding out my, well, actually there's going to be more somewhere else right there. But rounding out my Total Wine alcohol purchase, goodness gracious, is a bottle of sake. And this is actually just for us to keep on hand. My guy is very social, so he's going to things all the time. And he's like, oh, do we have anything that I can bring over? And I was stocking some like nice wine, some good expensive wine, but like he has so many events. I'm like, no, I'm not just sending you off with $40 worth of wine right now. And I think I've mentioned it before, but if I get the sake at Total Wine, it's actually very reasonably priced. So it seems like I'm giving something super nice that doesn't cost as much. So, yay me. Next up, we have some cocktail tomatoes. They look nice and red, although one of them is apparently being juicy, so I'm gonna have to make sure I wash all of that. That's not good. I kind of noticed that when I was putting it in the car, and I thought maybe it was just condensation, but clearly somebody has sprung a leak in my tomato container. But next up, we have some naan bread. This is good for hummus. And I know one of my listeners was like, oh, you should do a hummus video, because I make hummus quite often. But it's all in the food processor, so it's just like a lot of much more annoying than that, though. So I've elected not to. And honestly, as sad as it is, doing one video a month is almost too much for me. So, oh, but I do have, we're almost at 450, and I promised I would do another one of those unboxing of the toy videos. So if you have questions for me, now might be the time to submit them. Anyways, we have some avocados. I'm being very brave by getting this big bag of them, because they usually go bad on me, but I've been having better than average luck lately. Like, I'm learning some of the signs, I think, about when to open them up or put them in the fridge. So wish me luck that I eat the majority of those. I never even like convince myself I will eat the whole bag, but at Sam's Club I can get a bag like that for like $5 or $6. And the ones that are that size, I like the best. The flavor just seems better. Like, the little ones aren't as good. I don't know. But at that size, the cheaper grocery store near me sells them for $3 for one avocado. So we'll just hope that I go through the whole bag. And then finishing out that particular tote, we have some Donut Shop coffee blend. This is for my guy. Mostly now, I've almost completely stopped drinking coffee. How weird is that? I was obsessed with coffee for so long. It almost feels like I've lost part of my identity by not being a coffee drinker. I'm not to the point where it's like untasty, not tasty. Yeah, not tasty is probably better than untasty. English. You'd think it was my first language. But like, I don't mind the taste of it, and I'll still drink it sometimes on the weekends. But my tummy has been very grateful that I've cut back on how much coffee I've been drinking, so I'm going to continue that trend. Although it reminds me that I did forget to pick up tea while I was at the store. So that'll be another day, I guess, suppose. Next up, we have some cut green beans, a big old box of them. It's just a good price. You get 8 cans for like $6, and they're the name brand that I prefer. I can get a store brand for a comparable price individually at Winco, but that particular store brand tends to have sticks in it, like a stick in every can. I don't know how they manage that, but this one I've never had sticks in, so I'm gonna stick with it. All right. Now we're on to some regular groceries from a regular sized grocery store instead of Sam's Club. The groceries I bought today I got at Save Mart, but one of the surprise purchases was a bottle of whiskey. I actually looked for this when I went to the liquor store, and I have bought it at the liquor store before for a little cheaper. It's $33 at the liquor store, and it's like $37 at the Save Mart. But I had to kind of pick it up. My guy has been getting into drinking whiskey. We got ourselves a soda stream so we can make seltzer water on the fly, and it's been great. And last night I had a hankering for some alcohol, but I was out of mine because I get the big bottle of vodka for me because I have a higher tolerance than him, so it takes me a little bit more to enjoy myself. But I stole some of his whiskey, so I had to make sure I bought it. And when it wasn't at the liquor store, I was like, oh no. I wouldn't really be in trouble, but he would give me that exasperated sigh. And he's the type of person who like hoards his food and stuff. Like if he has like a nice thing of cookies, he'll eat like one cookie a day so it lasts longer. We're very different. I'm not that kind of a person. I want to eat the cookies while they're fresh. I don't want to wait until they're like stale to eat them and enjoy them. That's weird. So we're just different, but I had to make sure I replaced his whiskey. Next up, some vegetable broth. I made a minestrone soup last month. A couple of his friends were having a Italian night, and I wanted to add something that wasn't just more pasta because I've been trying to be good about what I eat. So I found a recipe for minestrone, and it is fabulous. Just love, love, love it. So I want to make it again before it gets too hot. We're already heading into summer, it feels like. Where I live, spring is typically very short. So I'm going to try to sneak in some more minestrone before it gets too hot. And on that note, I got a bag of dry Great Northern beans. These are the beans that I use in my white chili. They're also the type of beans, or one of the beans, that goes in minestrone. So I decided that this time around I would get them in a bag because it's like a third of the price to get dry beans versus canned beans. But if I need to use them in multiple cases, it's not so bad to like just make a batch. Like I'll probably cook most of this bag up in one go and then divide it out between the meals. But unless you need a lot of beans, I find that using the pressure cooker for like a single serving of beans, like 1 can's worth of beans, that's more than a serving. But 1 can worth is kind of hard. It wants to use bigger volumes. That's just the size of my pressure cooker. But yeah, I'll be able to use it because I'm going to be using that type of bean twice. Next up, we have some crispy jalapeno bits. Those are fabulous to put in salads, although I put them in a lot of things. Like making tacos, I'm going to throw in some of those. Sometimes on vegetables, I'll sprinkle some on top. So they're really good. After that, we have some dark red kidney beans. This is the other bean that goes in minestrone. And since I didn't have any plans to use kidney beans anywhere else, I decided to get the canned version of them. Save myself a little bit of heartache. I also have some split peas. This will be another thing that I'm trying to hurry up and make before it gets too hot. Like, I love soups, and they're really good for dieting, but once summer hits, they're a bit too much, right? It's a little difficult. So we're going to try to eat all the soups here soon. And for my soups, I have some diced tomatoes. Well, more specifically for the minestrone. But I'll fish out some of the tomatoes from this can. And I have plans to make stuffed bell peppers. And I usually put some sort of tomato sauce on top. But my favorite thing to do is just fish out some actual tomatoes from a can of tomatoes and put that on top. So I might steal some from my minestrone. Soup is very forgiving like that. You don't have to have exact amounts of pretty much anything. You gotta be careful about your salt, but that's about it. Everything else can be adjusted. Okay. Next up, we have some bread. I mostly got this because for my guy, soup is not a meal by itself. So I usually will make him a grilled cheese sandwich to go with his. And he loves them. Okay, so I might have told this story before, but it just cracks me up. I am definitely the cook in the household. And to the point where he doesn't even know how to make really basic things. You know, he's a boy. I guess that's just how it goes. But I was sick. This was quite a few years ago. This was before we got engaged. I was sick. And he's like, let me make you something, some comfort food. You know, I kind of give him the sideways look, and I'm like, okay, because I was just that sick. And it's like, can of soup and a grilled cheese sandwich. He comes in the room and he's like, what do you put on your grilled cheese? You put like butter or mayo? And I was like, okay, that's a legit question. Butter is what I use to put on the outside. And then I get this sandwich. He didn't cook it on the grill top. He cooked it in the toaster oven. And he put the butter side inward. Like the butter was a dressing rather than the browning agent for the bread. So what I got was like a semi-melted piece of toast that had butter on the inside, but like the butter and the cheese both didn't get very melted because toaster ovens they're not the best at grilled cheese. They're just not. And I just looked at that and I knew he did it out of love. I wasn't going to like criticize, especially because I was sick. But it was an abomination. Semi-coagulated cheese and goodness, it was wrong. And yeah, he gets nervous when he opens up a can of soup. It's a good thing I married him. Otherwise, he might starve himself. Okay, next up, we've got some onions. Those are good for all sorts of things. I don't feel like I need to go too in-depth there. And then finishing off this particular bag, we have one lonely little bagel. It sounded so good, right? So good. These ones have cheese and jalapenos on them, and they had a lot of them. I was tempted to pick up like a 6-pack. So I got myself one. I'm like, one's okay. That's okay to cheat once. And I didn't pick up any cream cheese. And we're out of butter. I didn't pick that up either. So I might see how well that bagel freezes. Because I don't feel like going to another store today. We are now on to our cooler stuff. And first up are some green bell peppers for our stuffed bell peppers that I'll be having, I think, tomorrow night. I'll have those. Some celery. This is for the minestrone, but also great with peanut butter. Some jalapenos for our white bean chili. Some romaine lettuce that's still in the little, what do you call that, stalk, maybe? They're still together. They're not chopped up yet. And hands down, this stuff lasts so much longer than the bag stuff. I know it's a little more work, but for how much salad I've been eating lately, totally worth it. One lonely zucchini, or at least I hope it's a zucchini. I was at the grocery store and they had labeled it, I think they had called it Italian squash, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's just zucchini. It looks like zucchini. And I meant to Google it, but then I just threw it on my cart and I'm like, throw caution to the wind. Let's find out. But that is for my minestrone as well. One of the things I really like about this minestrone is that it's just so many vegetables. You've got beans and carrots and onion and the zucchini. You throw in some spinach. So it's like all the garden vegetables, which is fabulous. Speaking of carrots though, I have a bag of the rainbow carrots. I really enjoy having all the different colors at my disposal. And then I have some chicken. It's a little overpriced. It's $5 a pound for this chicken. But to get it for cheaper, I'd have to go all the way to Winco. That is the cheapest store, but it's about 25 minutes, a half an hour away from where I live, and I just wasn't up for that today. So I did not go. And then I felt bad that I didn't go because I still managed to spend I think it was $115 at Save Mart, which didn't think I had that much stuff. Though 36, 37 of it was that bottle of whiskey. So there's something to be said for that. Next up, we have some raw kombucha. This is fermented tea, usually with a fruit juice. And today's flavors are Watermelon Wonder and California Citrus. There are so many flavors to kombucha that I have been really enjoying, just going through and trying them all. I have tried this one already. And this one has orange, but it also has ginger and stuff in it. It's very tasty. Let's see here. Black tea, green tea, kiwi juice, kumquat puree, Meyer lemon juice, apricot juice, fresh pressed ginger juice, and vanilla extract. So yeah, this one's my winner right now, although I do like that bright blue one that looks like Kool-Aid. I think I got that on my last grocery haul. And that one I can only find at Winco. Next up, we have some bacon ends and pieces. You guys have heard me mention enough times that this is a really annoying way to get bacon, but it's the cheapest way. So I was already spending extra money because I was at Save Mart instead of Winco, so I got the annoying one. And then we have some medium cheddar cheese. This is for our grilled cheese sandwiches. Truth be told, I actually prefer Colby Jack in my grilled cheese sandwiches, but for some reason they were out of that today. So medium cheddar is a very close second. I can't really complain there. And then we have even more bell peppers. Some of these will also get stuffed alongside of the green ones. But the red guys I will save for my hummus. My favorite flavor is red pepper garlic hummus. So I'll be making that to go with our naan bread. And then I got a big old thing of string cheese. Can never go wrong with cheese in this household, right? And then we have some half and half. We've got some broccoli. And since it's getting to be warm out, we're getting close to hamburger season, so I preemptively bought some patties because I try not to go to Sam's Club more than once a month. I'll do other grocery trips, but not to Sam's Club. It gets expensive real fast when you go there. And then last but not least, some not hamburger patty, but hamburger. Gonna make some of that goes into our stuffed bell peppers. And I have plans on making some meatloaf and tacos, and it's just a good all around thing to have. And with that, we have unbagged everything. I wasn't able to really clean it up too much because the filming equipment is in the way of my fridge. So let's go ahead and wrap up this video here so I can get some of this stuff put away. And of course that means shout outs, right? So thank you to some of my commenters, such as DGGD, Ricky McCordy, Hot Sauce 188, Max, who is also Apple Tree, Thomas, LB, and K. Smith. That's just to mention a few of the lovely people who've commented recently. So thank you for keeping me motivated, and I'll see you guys next month, okay? Have a good night. Bye.